This is the hardest guitar solo I can play on the guitar. If it's a guitar solo, it's not going to be on the piano, right? But there's many reasons why it's hard and what makes it hard. But let me show you the solo first, and then we will talk about it. This is a solo written by Per Nilsson, who was the guitarist of Scar Symmetry. I discovered their music a few years back when I was highly into metal music, and first time I heard this solo, I was like, wow dude, there isn't a single technique he did not use in the solo. I'm sure you noticed. Slides, legato, alternate picking, tapping, tap bends. Let's go, let's go, let's go. It doesn't stop, doesn't stop. It just keeps adding on. Listening to it, it sounds amazing. Per Nilsson, you're still going, man? Relax. But trying to learn it, it's a completely different beast. So in this video, I'm gonna break down how I approach learning a solo that is this confusing and this difficult, and my process. So first thing that I do when I want to learn something is listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it many times, and I need to be able to at least sing the solo in my head. I need to know what comes next. Almost exactly. How are you gonna play it if you don't know what it sounds like? It's like taking a picture with a camera with the lens cap off. Your ears are your lens cap. Open them, listen to the song many times, and then comes the next step, which is I'm gonna download the song. I'm gonna steal it. It's now mine. Sorry, Per Nilsson. I'm gonna shove it into my DAW, and I'm going to slow it down. So the song is at 226 BPM. I set the project in 113 because it's like the same thing. I just slowed it down, not scientifically, but slow enough for me to be able to hear the actual notes. So I believe 75. Sounds good to me. Because I'm not learning off of tablature, I'm trying to learn it by ear. If you do want the tabs for the solo, I think if I'm not too lazy, I will release tabs and put them in the description. But most likely I'm gonna be too lazy to make the tabs, so don't count on it. And if you're there, check out these shirts also. They're gonna be in the description because you need to be wearing a Habibi shirt to learn a solo like this. So this solo is almost a minute long, right? And you're gonna be playing for like 55 seconds or some shit. Non-stop. It's non-stop, no breaks. So it's best to compartmentalize it into sections. And this solo, thankfully, has clear sections. These are the main chunks that I have in my mind, which are 7 sections. This is weird, no? It's like, you're a loser. And these sections can also be subplotted, not subplotted, subcompartmentalized, also not a word. These sections can also be split into smaller sections. There you go. With the intro, the most important thing that I focused on was getting that first slide in. It's a slide from higher. If you slide in from lower, it's gonna sound way different. Because I listened to it many times, I'm gonna have to adhere by the articulation of the actual solo. I'm not gonna create my own articulations, but maybe at some point we will add little pizzazz here and there. And then we go into this lick here. Not this one. And here we're just basically playing an ascending lick. But the way that I heard it is we're sliding into the same note. It sounds way different than just ascending the lick here. And it also sounds different than sliding the note here. Because it's a slide coming in from higher also. Then we have a lick here that goes like this. ending on a half bend. And what's interesting about this lick is that I like to do selective palm muting on it. It would sound... I want to do it without the palm muting, and then I'm going to do selective palm muting and see how it just changes the feel of it. So it's like 2 notes palm muted, 2 notes not palm muted, I feel like is where I landed. Sounds the best to me. In the next section, we have this little ditty. So we're raking up to this, and then we're sliding to the 19th fret, and then we're doing a half bend, and then bending back down. We're not picking that bend, we're just sliding into it without picking it. We're picking the way down. This is one of my favorite licks actually because it has a lot of interesting sliding happening. It has many emotions happening. First of all, it's like at a pivotal point of the solo and you feel like something inevitable is happening. It feels hopeful and doubtful at the same time because all the slides are going, it's like, it looks like this. That's how it looks like. It's like you're flipping switches on and off. Tick, 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 tick. You know what I'm saying. And that brings us to, I think, the highest note of the solo so far that we linger on. We've touched this before, but it was only a half bend. But now we actually linger on it. So any note that you play, you can play it in many different ways. Let's take this bend, for example. I can play it like this. I can upstroke it. I can downstroke it. I can downstroke, rake up to it. I can pick it up, pick it down. I can slide up to it. I can slide down to it. I can play a half step up, half step down from it. I can pull off and hammer it on. I can add one more note. I can add more notes. Do a million things with just one note. So imagine if you have this many notes in one solo, the amount of options is astounding. And I actually go way more in depth about all these techniques in my guitar soloing course, which will teach you all you need to know about improvisation. And I go in depth about all the articulations and how you can use them to get the emotions and feelings that you want. I'm running a sale on the course right now. You can get it for 50% off using the code Habibi in English, not Arabic. 50% off. The link is in the description. If you're interested, you can read more about it on the course page. The hardest part of this solo is at the very end, which is the tapping, string skipping. That lick is so annoying because getting to it is so annoying. You have to play the whole solo. And getting here is very hard on its own. Getting the tapping lick clean, it's like a whole other solo. So this one section, I compartmentalized it into 3 arpeggios. But how I played it to practice it, I just repeated the arpeggio shape just so that I can get the fingerings right. And I just repeated that on each arpeggio. The hardest part of this is not only hitting the notes, you also need to be muting the strings on the way up. My palm is moving onto the strings and muting them. Or you can just use a fret wrap and that just means you're lazy, you're a bad player. I'm sorry, controversial, yeah, probably. So after I got these arpeggio shapes down, I added the little slide in the beginning because instead of just ascending, we're doing a... Completely okay with the fact that I'm never gonna play this as clean as I want. There's gonna be something I don't like with the muting. I hit the notes, yes, but there's gonna be a string ringing that I don't like. That's fine, bro, who cares? Who cares? So far we listened to this solo many times, memorized it. We're slowing it down so we can see what the licks are. We can learn them by ear. Next, I need to play over the actual backing track. But I don't have a backing track, and I'm very lazy. I didn't want to make one myself. And if I don't, I'll just be playing over the original solo. I don't want that. Because you can't know if you're playing it clean or not, because it's being masked by the actual solo on top of it. So thankfully, we have AI these days. So I use the tool called LALAL AI. What LALAL does is that you can just put in any song you want and tell it what you want to separate, and it will separate it for you. So I got all the separate tracks for this, and I took out lead guitar. So now I can replace the lead guitar, and I have a perfectly good backing track with the original pieces played by the actual band. So without this tool, I'd probably be stuck making my own backing track or finding someone else's, which is not ideal. But with this tool, I don't have to do that. So check it out. It's very accessible, very easy. Link is in the description. So now so at this point, when I remove the lead track, it means I memorize the solo completely, section by section, and I can play it at a slow speed throughout, not clean. And you can see in my practicing sessions that it wasn't really perfect. So we slowed it down. That's very clever. But what you need to do is you need to speed it up to the original speed and try playing it. See where the mistakes are, and then go back, slow it down, and play these sections. Get these sections cleaner, speed it up a little bit, play it again, go back to full speed, see what sections are problematic. But then you need to speed it up over the original speed of the song. This is 113. I went 135 and I tried to play it. Let me put it at 135 and try to play it. But after I'm done with this, I'll go back down to 113. Let's go ahead and do 135. $155. I want to relax. Now we go back to 113. So easy. There you have it. Boom. Psychological trick. So what I do is I would just loop the section itself. I would just select it in the DAW and loop it and just play it on repeat. I get another section down. I loop a bigger section. Play it, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it. Boom, 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 boom. Here's something crazy that happened throughout this whole thing is in the beginning, in the intro, it was supposed to be an 8th fret instead of a 7th fret. And I knew that. That's how I transcribed it originally. But because it's one time or a couple times I did the wrong fingering, it just stuck with me. So all the sessions that I did practicing, I did them wrong. And even recording it, like, it's right in my head. It sounds wrong, but like, that's it. Like, psychologically, it's right for me. And this just proves that you can get in your head so much you forget the bigger picture. And this is the bigger picture. But you want to learn a guitar solo, you need to pick your battles. You need to see what's worth it to you. If you really want to get it clean, get the repetitions in. Who are you doing this for? For yourself? Beautiful. For self-growth? Beautiful. To impress the girl that you like? Beautiful. But will she be impressed? Ask her, like, be honest. Will she be impressed? Probably.